Hello and welcome. As you probably guessed, I am MotherAzure, and also going Maria. I am back again with another pick a card. And today's reading is just going to be a message about whatever spirit has to tell you, your guides. I'm finally back. I didn't do anything last week. It was my first week of classes, so it was hectic, and now I'm sick. But I'm still going to put up this video anyway. So if you hear me sniffling behind the mic, don't worry. I just have a cold. You know how it is being around the littles. When they get sick, you get sick too. So just to explain a little bit, even though this is going to be mostly a general message, whatever comes through is what I'm going to tell you. I felt called to do a few things differently. For one, I have 4 decks right here. So I'm going to be using a different deck for each pile. And you saw me shuffle in the beginning 1 card for each deck because I felt called to draw a card to help you guys pick your deck. Now, I want you to pick with your intuition, not just with what the card means in the sense of maybe what you want to hear. Try to pick with your intuition, but you can look at the images. Of course, I'm going to bring the camera closer later so you can look at this better. And also, we're going to be using, for the first time on my channel, because I just technically got this oracle, we're going to be using the Kali oracle. Now, this message is not necessarily going to be from her. I'm not specifying that it is from her, but for some reason, I felt like I should use her deck here. And lastly, we're going to also be using some dice to get you some angel numbers. But again, this can be anything that comes through. I am also going to be shuffling the tarot later on. I'm not only going to use this card for you. Okay? So without further ado, let's get into your piles. So for pile 1, you have the Light Seer's Tarot with the 2 of Pentacles. For pile 2, you have Tarot del Toro with the Temperance card. For pile 3, you have Tarot of the Divine with the Ace of Wands. And for pile 4, you have the Antique Anatomy Tarot with the 5 of Pentacles. Hello for pile 1 with the Light Seer's Tarot and the 2 of Pentacles is your reading. So I'm going to start shuffling this. I'm going to be looking for at least 2 more cards. So I have like 3. That's the standard, right? But I'm going to start by interpreting this. So already what I'm getting from this card. And I'm also going to tell you this right now in the beginning to see. So you can be sure that this is the right pile for you. If this doesn't resonate, you feel free to pick another pile. Okay. So I just want to make sure that you picked the right one. So if you pick the 2 of Pentacles here, this 2 of Pentacles, the 2 of Pentacles talks about juggling 2 things. In many ways, it can signal a certain level of stagnation because you're too busy juggling the 2 pentacles, moving them around in a cycle over and over and over again. But specifically with this card and for your reading, I'm feeling here that you have been juggling this for a long time, whatever these 2 pentacles are. Obviously, being pentacles is going to be talking about career, but it doesn't have to be. It's going to depend for each of you. But at least one of these options, one of these pentacles that you have been juggling, it's kind of like you are losing it in a way. Because the thing that called my attention in this card is this pentacle right here that's kind of transparent. It looks like it's disappearing in a way, isn't it? So the first thing that it made me think of is that this thing is kind of disappearing, which would make you think that maybe you would feel relieved about it, but you really aren't in a sense, because I mean, in a sense you are relieved, but or you could be feeling some relief in the sense of you being like, oh, I finally don't have to keep juggling these 2 things anymore. But now that this other pentacle is kind of dissipating, you may feel a little bit afraid because you have been juggling these 2 pentacles for so long that not having both of them feels wrong or it feels strange. So it makes you feel a little bit afraid. So it's kind of like, even though the 2 of Pentacles is not a card that I would typically associate with a crossroads as much as I would associate, I would normally associate crossroads with maybe the 2 of Swords a little bit more, or even the 2 of Wands. But for the 2 of Pentacles, that's usually not the case, but it really feels like that for you. So it's about making a decision here. But I feel like mostly your decision is letting go of this other pentacle that's over here. Because really, if it's disappearing, it's you don't need it, but you feel like you do, if that makes sense. So let me get you at least 2 more cards to see what's going on, and then I'm gonna get you your oracle. This is probably gonna be a shorter reading, but we'll see how it goes, because every time I say, oh, it's gonna be a short reading, it's not. So we'll see. Pardon me if I'm sniffling, behind the microphone. Have a runny nose. Okay. So what's the message for pile 1? I'm seeing pigs for some reason. I don't know. So at least one of you could have a pet pig. But what I'm seeing specifically, they're showing me Peppa Pig. So maybe you're watching Peppa Pig, or it's in the background, or you have a kid and they watch it a lot. But you should probably look into the, how do I say this? The spiritual meaning of pigs. Sorry, I have my brain went blank for a second. Okay. Spiritual meaning of pigs, what they represent, the kind of messages that they could bring for you, because that's coming through quite strongly. Let's see what else. Ooh. The Knight of Cups. And the Five of Swords. Interesting. There's a 3 of Swords down here. Now, I typically, sometimes I do, sometimes I don't, look at the card at the bottom. But for this one, I felt like looking at it. You got the 3 of Swords down here, which is kind of heartbreak. There's a lot of pain right now. But it doesn't have to be heartbreak in this of a relationship. Like I said, if I feel like in your reading from this card alone, it felt like there's a certain sense of, fear, maybe a little bit of despair in a way, because of this thing that's disappearing that you kind of want to hold on to. It's painful, so that's just a confirmation right there. So I'm just gonna put that away and look at these right here. So with the Knight of Cups, all the knights signify movement, which is kind of what I was saying here, because it's like you would be at a standstill, but you have the Knight of Cups about moving forward. I feel like in a way you like I said before, you want to let go of this, stop juggling the 2 pentacles and finally move forward in a way. But it comes to a point where you feel the need to kind of go back and hold on to it, because they're showing me the 4 of Pentacles, even though it's not here. So there's this kind of it's a level of guilt, a level of negative self-talk. I'm actually hearing a little bit of that self-talk. If this is something that applies to you, take it. But it's kind of like someone, I'm saying someone because most of our negative self-talk comes from things that other people have told us. So it kind of feels like someone is telling you this, and it's not you yourself, even if it's your own voice. And it's kind of, it feels like you will never amount to anything else. Like, this is the only thing that you can do. You can't do more. You don't have the ability to do more. And I'm putting that as nicely as I can, because the voice that I'm hearing is not exactly nice. And I'm not actually hearing it, I'm kind of feeling it. So there's like a lot of anger behind this voice. It sounds like a woman. For some of you, maybe, or maybe for many of you, this was a mother figure that told you this type of stuff when she was very angry. And I'm not gonna say that she didn't mean it, because regardless of whether this person meant it or not, it still hurt you. What their intentions don't matter if they hurt you anyway. That's something that I want to get out of the way, and that's Spirit can confirm. But it's like they told you these things, and maybe they apologized after. They apologized because they were like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to tell you all of that, but because I was angry, right? So there's this anger behind the voice. But again, it doesn't excuse it. It's wrong. But it's that kind of self-talk. And for some reason, you go back to this. For many of you, this could be talking about certain relationships that you have in your life. So this could be family specifically, because even though the Pentacles talks about like mostly people associated, with career, earthly pleasures and all of that, I also see it a lot as relating to family, because I associate specifically the 10 of Pentacles with family. So it may be those types of relationships, maybe even the same person that I mentioned that talk to you like that, and that has kind of inched its way into your own personal self-talk. And you kind of feel like you need to let go of them and you want to, but then you come back because of guilt. There's the possibility as well that for some of you, this person is not in a good health condition. So you kind of feel even more guilty because of that, because you feel like you have to take care of them, or you have to be there for them, and even if they're not actually sick. That doesn't have to be for all of you, but it's kind of like you feel like you are needed, because a big part about this Two of Pentacles is this feeling of responsibility towards the Two Pentacles. So the one pentacle that you want to keep, the one that aligns with you, and the other one that it's kind of disappearing, or that should be disappearing, but you're still holding on to. There's this sense of responsibility. It's not wanting or needing exactly. It's more like, I feel like I have to. And of course that leads you to I'm hearing self-loathing in a way, because you may feel at times like it's stupid for you to feel like that. In two ways. So maybe it would be like, why would you do that? That would make you a bad person, and this and that. But then the other part of you would be like, why am I so dumb? I should leave. They're not treating me well. They make me feel bad about myself. Blah blah blah. Right? There's a lot of hate turned inward, and that's something that Spirit, your guides as well, they want you to stop doing, because basically this is not your voice. This is someone else's voice that has led to this, and they're keeping you trapped with the Two Pentacles in an endless loop. But it's because I'm not saying that this is not valid and that it's not difficult, but technically, because it's your own self-talk, maybe they can't even tell you these things anymore, or they don't tell you these things anymore, but you keep repeating them in your brain over and over again. So technically you're perpetuating the very same abuse that you suffer at the hands of others. So it's a very heavy message. Holy shit. So Spirit, Pile 1 Spirit team, there's just something extra that I want to do, I suppose. What's something that would help Pile 1 with this? Because that's the message. The main message literally is that this is what's going on, but you need to get out of that loop because a lot of this is within, because this is what we see on the outside, that is this juggling, right? But the inside is this. If you look at the two people, they have their eyes closed, but you want to move forward in a way, right? So let me see what can help. Judgment. Yep. So Judgment, in a way, not in a way. Judgment is alignment. But it's also, even in the depiction of this card, it feels like allowing yourself to move beyond your limits. And in this case, in your reading, the limit is this point that you get to where you start talking negatively about yourself to yourself, right? The point of the negative self-talk where, and the point where your past kind of pulls you back. It's walking kind of through like that fear anyway, and through that I'm looking for another word. It's not exactly fear. But the point is kind of elevating, because with this Judgment card, the depiction of this card is literally this woman projecting this image of herself upward. You could say it's her soul, but to me, this card very much feels like an elevation, like moving on to the next level, and kind of really choosing for yourself what it is that you want, because it really looks to me like a projection. So instead of projecting yourself as this person that you should be, that you were told that you should be, to instead create this projection of yourself as the person you would like to be, with all the freedom is very important for you, that you crave, and striving towards becoming that person, and not letting this past pull you back to the loop, basically. So let me get you one card from the Kali Oracle. This one is really hard to shuffle, so I'm gonna try my best. So let's see what comes through. I'm going to be reading this from the book because, well, I'm not going to read the whole thing on the book because it's really long and it's going to take a while. But I'm going to read like the general summary of the card that they provide for you, so you know what it is, because I wouldn't dare like say anything about Kali without knowing about it, and I still need to study it. Okay, so let's see. One card for pile 1, please, that is going to help them. That one wanted to come out, but it didn't. Ooh. See, it's so difficult. I can't shuffle it the other way because my hands are not big enough. There she goes. I absolutely love her. So you got Gauri Devi. This is number 43. Let me look that up. So I just want to show you because, like, what? Why are you so beautiful? I absolutely love her. I've always felt very called to her in a way since I found out that she existed, like as in like a goddess. So let me see where it is. I really like her energy. That's 43, page 214. Oh my god. Okay, there she is. This is what I'm going to read right here. So it says, champion of the sweet souls with fierce hearts who are underestimated and passed over. She who is gentle as the deer and ruthless as the lioness, who is the capacity within the awakened heart to rise, to overcome obstacles, to have faith without any evidence of victory, and to rally the spirit until the right moment to act and win is felt. She is nonconformity and the freedom to be one's true self. Recognize your own beauty and value, irrespective of whether another has the capacity to behold it at this time. You shall shine. I love that. I think it goes very well with your reading. So I'm also going to read this part because they talk about as well what it means when the card comes up in a reading. So I'm going to read this small paragraph as well. It says, when Gauri Devi arises in a reading, you are asked to check your boundaries and tune into your capacity to hiss, to realize you are entitled to be kind, but also to be respected. If you have seen yourself as a badass, it is time to embrace your softer side. If you have been soft and doubted your ability to stand up for yourself, you have simply forgotten that you're also Kali. Play with the balance, with what resonates, and know that if you allow for it, the divine will spontaneously arise from within, and in whatever form shall accomplish the task. Take responsibility for the consequences of your actions while trusting in her methods that flow through you. That is also a very important thing with the Judgment card. I was going to say the Awakening card. I think it's called the Awakening, one of my decks, and I got confused. That is about the consequences of your own actions, and that doesn't mean that it's talking exclusively about negative actions. It's talking about all actions. All actions have consequences, so it's kind of taking actions that you know what they're going to produce is going to be in your favor. And when I say in your favor, it can be both in the sense that it's going to make your life better, but also in the sense that it's going to make you grow. Because and growing is not that it's not going to make your life better, but sometimes growing is difficult, and we kind of choose the other path as well. But I think it went really well with what I had already said, which I'm amazed by. So is the one that came up for you, and I'm gonna get you the dice just to finish your reading, because I just wanted to read the Kali Oracle at the end because I love how it ties in. I love when I do the reading and then I grab another deck and it just ties in, especially when it's Oracle. So let's see, a number, an angel number, numerology stuff for you to look up if you want to. So let's see. This may be a little bit loud. 1, 5, and 6. So you may take these numbers and kind of change them around however you want, in whatever order. You can add them up and then reduce them, or just add them up and whatever number comes up is the one that you're going to look at. When I say reduce, I mean like 1 plus 5 plus 6. That's 12, and then you do 1 plus 2 equals 3, right? Or you could just look up 12, anything like that, any combination. Even you can also look them up separately as an extra message for you. I'm hearing literally right now, before I conclude your reading, is like you're gonna come out victorious. So if there's a fear about trying again and simply going back to the beginning, so like going back to square one, you don't have to be worried about it, because you have support on your side from your spirit team. But it's not that you didn't have the support from them before, it's that I'm kind of seeing like everything is aligned for it to work out now, and you have a lot more knowledge, and you have accumulated a lot of strength, ironically enough, as a result of your own anger. Because you may not feel like you are angry over this, but there is a certain level of repressed anger, and anger is not bad. Anger is an emotion that comes up when we are wronged, and when we feel something is unfair, and that's important in order to cause change. So use that anger in a positive way for yourself, and take Kalima's advice. Okay, so that's all I have for you. Please like, comment, share, subscribe if you feel called to, because I do put out new videos every Sunday at 12 p.m. EST. Also, go ahead and follow me on Instagram if you want. I do all my updates on the channel over there. And if you want to buy me a coffee, I have my Venmo and my Cash App in the description down below. It is never expected, but it is always very appreciated. I wish you the best of luck on your journey, and much love to you. Bye bye. Hello for your pile 2 with the Tarot del Toro and the Temperance card. That is your reading. So I'm going to start shuffling in a second, but I want to look at your card first to make... I just want to see what comes through with just this one to make sure that you have picked the right one. So pay attention to this part especially. If it turns out to not resonate with your situation, you can feel free to pick another pile if you want, okay? So the first thing that's coming up with the Temperance card in this specific deck for you, because I look a lot at imagery when I'm doing my readings. Is very important for me sometimes, and for me with this card and the way it's represented here in your reading, it feels like a lot of things around you are very chaotic, but you're kind of standing in the middle of all that chaos. It's not that you're not preoccupied, because you were here for guidance in a way, and if you didn't need help with it, I don't think Spirit would have led you here. It's more like you are idle, like right in the middle of all this chaos, because maybe you're confused about where to go, or even if you should stay in control and try to control the chaos, which, by the way, I don't think is a good idea. Because like immediately I'm feeling like, no, don't stay and fix the chaos, it's not yours to fix. And if it's chaos is uncontrollable. I'm talking about like the energy of chaos from a mythological point of view. Chaos is not something that you can control. So you kind of stand in the middle of this, trying to keep to yourself, but in a way it is actually affecting you, because the person here is looking at the flames very clearly. So they see the flames, and they're always staying in the middle and away from them. But there's the awareness that this is happening. So you may be looking for clarity on what course of action to take when it comes to this situation. And like I said, I don't feel like staying to fix it is going to be the answer. But let's see what else comes through for you here. So what's the message for pile 2? Give me at least 2 cards, please. I'll ask for more if I need to. Sorry if I'm sniffling behind the camera, by the way. This is the 4 of Cups. Yeah, no. There's a lot of detachment here from your part, but even now, you see the flames. It's like you can't stay calm much longer, because they're kind of closing in, if that makes sense. And the Hermit. Okay, that's interesting. Alright. So, with the 4 of Cups, it gives me a sense similar to this card, because the Four of Cups talks about the person in the Four of Cups is not moving, is not accepting the cup being offered to them. They're just kind of in their own little world, preoccupied and not seeing what's happening around them. Even though the Temperance card, like I said, I feel like you know that this is going on. You may have, to a certain degree, you may have tried to ignore the flames and the situation, maybe think that it was gonna resolve itself. It's kind of like, if I don't look at it, maybe it will go away, but it didn't. So now you're kind of like, okay, so what can I do about this? With the Hermit here, look, I'll be completely honest. The actual answer to this is within you. So instead of being like right where you are but not really, it's like you are idle, but you are not actually looking within. You are looking at the flames and focusing on other things, maybe what else that you have to do, but you're not actually thinking about this. So you would have to go within for this answer. However, the other thing that I'm feeling with the Hermit here, like this Hermit is very interesting because there's this smoke coming out of here. So I'm gonna be honest, these flames may not be like in your environment. These may be within your own brain. So maybe things from the past that have been trying to resurface, or things that you haven't dealt with, things that you have pushed down and into your shadow, to your shadow self, that you haven't dealt with, and they're kind of creeping in a little bit, and you don't want to deal with them. Like, you know they're there, but you don't either don't want to deal with them, or you don't know how to deal with them. Because the first thing that came to mind when I saw this Hermit here with the smoke coming out of the lantern and out of his mouth, like, when you put out fire, there is smoke. So I don't think the Hermit put out the fire completely. It put it in the lantern. So it's kind of using this towards something better. But the thing with fire, like I said, you can't control chaos, and fire is chaotic. You can't really control it. You can either I don't feel like containing it is the answer for you either, because it's just going to keep burning. So, well, it may feel quite difficult and maybe catastrophic to allow the fire to, I'm going to say, consume you, because this is not literal fire. I feel like this is more like an emotional type of thing. It's like you have to feel it. This feels like very strong emotions that you don't necessarily want to look at. Many of these emotions may have been passed down. And when I say emotions passed down, I mean like this is like generational trauma. But it's like you can kind of manage it a little bit, little by little, allowing yourself to deal with this so the fire starts becoming smaller. It is not as chaotic and all-consuming as it is right now. Because I feel like even if you're not looking at it all the time, or you're trying to ignore it, it is taking a toll on you. So it's kind of using it for something useful, if that makes sense. So using the fire for something that is going to help you. I did it like this because I was, like I said, reversed. It's not reversed. Because the lantern can be used to move forward. Because like I said, I feel like for many of you, this is within your own brain, maybe not your environment at all. And considering it's here, the Hermit being someone that climbed the mountain and has learned a lot only with his lantern that represents enlightenment and learning. It's like you have used this fire that maybe was really scary before, that you didn't want to deal with, in order to further your own course, I meant to say. So it's kind of to move forward in a way. So the more you're ignoring this fire that's going on around you, this chaos is not going to fix it. you actually have to let it burn in a manageable way. So like I said, you can't exactly control it, but you can try to use it. So because fire can be used to burn things, but it can also be used for cooking. It can be used with clay to make something. So fire is creation and destruction. So it's up to you if you're gonna let it be destructive, or if you're gonna use it for something to create something new. Okay, so I drew another card just to see what something else that maybe you needed to know regarding this, but it's interesting to me that I'm talking about the fire, and the only two minor arcana that you've gotten have been cups. So I really feel like this is emotional related, because wands, fire. There are no wands here, but I'm saying like fire, is also something that I would consider emotional, because in a way is this vitality, this drive, this force. So it is emotional in that sense. While the cups, I would say that maybe I would associate them more with more soft and delicate emotions, maybe like sadness or a little bit of happiness, and like more delicate stuff, while the fire is more intense, right? So instead of being put off by this, instead of trying to ignore it, it's kind of like changing, what they're saying is, in a sense, changing the perspective that you have of this, so you can actually manage it. And when I feel like there's a difference between control and manage. So it's kind of like you're doing a little bit, but you're not trying to go all in all at once. That's not gonna help you. But in your case, like I said, for that you have to kind of feel it. It's like a phoenix rising from the ashes, right? So I want to get the card from the Kali Oracle. It always helps a lot to clarify what's going on here. Well, not here, just in every reading. But I'm gonna say that I'm gonna be reading from the book a little bit, because I wouldn't dare say that I know enough about Kali to like give you like an interpretation right off the bat, because I don't. So let me see what comes out for you for pile 2. What is their message here? Kalima. It's not necessarily from her. I'm saying Kalima because of the oracle. This could be coming obviously like from your guides and spirit. Oh, there she is. Okay. I love how I just knocked this one out. So you got the Kali Yantra. So let's see what this is. This is number 12. Oops. And this is page 85. Give me a second. I have to sneeze. Sorry about that. I had to blow my nose a little bit. That was fucked. So I'm going to be reading this little paragraph right here, and one from like where is the other one that I want to read, because there's one that talks about what happens when she comes out in a reading. So this one right here. Okay. So let me read this for you. So it says, she is your inner power to evoke a positive shift in your circumstances. If anything required for success be lacking, the Divine Mother shall provide it, bridging the divide between you and the manifestation of your intentions. You are crossing a critical spiritual threshold. She is the true guardian and guide. Stay focused on what matters to your heart, and you shall remain faithfully connected to her protective presence within. Allow distractions to fall away and continue to commit to your soul journey. Holy shit, the soul journey is this one right here. A more beautiful experience of your life path awaits you. So, let me see. It was this one. If you have been feeling weak or vulnerable, holy shit, remember that you are a powerful divine being. You do not need to act from fear. Instead, trust the inner guidance of the heart as to how and when to act. Finally, this oracle is a notice of supreme protection. If you suspect that you have been the subject of negative energy work or projections from others, that you are being blocked or sabotaged intentionally or otherwise, the oracle of Kali Yantra is the medicine of clearing and protection that shall nullify the effects. There is no need to dwell upon negative workings of power, nor be intimidated by worldly authority. Place your faith in the ultimate power of the divine. So that may be especially important for you if you felt like maybe these circumstances were caused by someone else. Regardless of that, it will be taken care of. You already were told about that. So I'm hearing like this is just a stepping stone. Hold on, give me a second. Like, it looks big and scary right now. But like I said, it is manageable because it wouldn't be here if it were this big. So it feels very big within you. But it's like you are more capable of working with this than you think you are. So I'm going to get you some numbers. If you want to look them up, you can go ahead and do that. Let me see what you get here, numerology wise. This may be a little bit loud, just letting you know. 3, 4, 5. Oh. You can use any combination of these numbers, but like 3, 4, 5, that's like a sequence right there. So you can add them up. You just leave it like that. Look at that number. You can also reduce the number. So here you would have 7, 12, 12. So 1 plus 2, 3. Or you can look them up individually as well. However you feel called to do this. All right. So yeah, I just noticed. Sorry, I just noticed what she's doing. Someone taught me how to do the this yantra before, and from what I was told, it's supposed to kind of increase your personal power, or at least help you tap into it a little bit more. So maybe doing this yantra is going to help you a lot. So I'm gonna bring it closer so you can see a little bit better how it's there. Do educate yourself on it, please, because I am not an expert. I'm just telling you what's coming through. So this one right here. So left thumb over right one, and both index fingers touching. The other ones are just down. So like that. So yeah, that's it. That's all I have for you. I hope that made sense, because I feel like at some points that some of it was a little bit all over the place, but if it made sense to you, that's all that matters. That's all I have for you. Please like, comment, share, subscribe if you feel called to, because I do put out new videos every Sunday at 12 p.m. EST. Also, go ahead and follow me on Azure if you want. I do have my other stuff on the channel over there. And if you want to buy me a coffee, I have my Venmo and my Cash App in the description down below. It is never expected, but it is always very appreciated. I wish you the best of luck on your journey, and much, much love to you. Bye-bye. Hello, we power through with the Tarot of the Divine and the Ace of Wands. This is your reading. So I'm going to be looking at this card first to see the general feel that I get from it. But it's also going to help you figure it out if this is the right reading for you. If it's not, you feel free to pick another pile, okay? So let me just see with the Ace of Wands here. The first thing that's coming through, there is a new beginning for you. Especially when it comes to creativity, but also creating what it is that you want. Whatever it is that you want. When I say creativity, I feel like when the word creativity comes up, people think like, oh, art and I don't know, that kind of stuff. And it's like, I'm not, and maybe you feel like, oh, I'm not an artist. Creativity doesn't only talk about the arts and crafts. It talks about just making something new. It can be literally anything. It can be in a regular job. It can be within your life. It doesn't have to be a painting. It could be a painting. But it can literally be anything. Just something that you are putting the effort into starting, and that you are very excited and looking forward to. So with this Ace of Wands here, I'm literally, it's like they're showing me like a clean slate for you. So you may have gone through a recent transformation. You may have gone actually through like a tower moment at some point recently, and the tower has already fallen down. So like all you have left right now, it's kind of like the clean terrain is the word that they're saying, clean terrain. And I feel like there's excitement here with the Ace of Wands, but maybe you feel like you need a little bit of guidance on like kind of not where to go, just what to do next, maybe, because like you're like, all right, I have the brush in my hand, I'm ready to write, but what do I write? What do I do here? You literally got the Magician. This is insane, because the Magician is literally someone that has, well, this one is the fairy godmother from the Cinderella story. This deck has myths and also stories, children's stories, just folk tales, anything like that. But the Magician itself, so I'm talking about the Cinderella movie because the fairy godmother, she could literally make anything she wanted. She just had to go bibbidi bobbidi boom, right? So that was just really fast, just whatever she wanted to make. And that's what the Magician is about. It's about creating whatever it is that you want, because you have all the resources to do it. So if you have a question about what to create, it's like the sky is the limit for you. You can do whatever you want here. But let me get another card to see what the message is, because maybe there's something else in here. They want you to be confident. Very confident. Wow. I'm very confident. That is the Knight of Swords. So the Knight of Swords... Holy shit. The Knight of Swords is the fastest knight in tarot. Okay? So, also, like, actually, he may be a little bit too fast, because some people say that the Knight of Swords can be a little bit impulsive, but the Knight of Swords is just very driven and sure of himself and of where he's going, right? Very swift, very ready to go into battle, because that's what the knight is doing here. He has the sword in his hand. He is ready. Okay. So with this new beginning here, like I said, it's like for you, the sky is the limit. You don't have to limit yourself at all. You can create whatever it is that you want here. And when you pick one thing to make, you don't even have to pick just one, by the way. But make sure that you can manage, don't bite off more than you can chew. And move forward with confidence. I think that the main, let's say, warning here is, like I said, don't bite off more than you can chew. And be confident, but not arrogant, okay? Give me a second. Sorry about that. My nose is very stuffed. It's very, very stuffy. I have a stuffy nose, stuffed nose, and it's just so uncomfortable. I had to get up for a second. So what I was saying, it's important for you to move with confidence in this new beginning. But it's also kind of important to not overwhelm yourself and not be arrogant, because just because you have the ability to make whatever you want doesn't mean that you should make whatever you want, or that everything that you want to make is going to be beneficial for you in the long run, or that you're gonna be they're gonna stick through it, because there's this thing here about sticking to whatever it is that you're going to start. So maybe in the past you were a little bit, I don't know what they're saying, you were flaky. What the fuck? So maybe you were, okay? I'm not judging you. This is just coming through. A little bit flaky, maybe, that you started things that you never finished them. I feel like they're talking to me. They're literally talking about me right now too. So don't worry, they're kind of roasting me too. God damn. So and it's like to say, you can create whatever you want. Just make sure that you have the drive and know that you want to stick to this, because even though it is whatever you want, why create something that is not going to make you happy, or that would be good for you in some way, right? And also, there may be here about doing something for others as well, because with the Magician, like I said, this is the fairy godmother, so it may be called to do something for someone else as well. So if that comes if that feels like something that's coming from your heart, don't ignore it. If you want to do something for someone else, do it. Like, don't stop yourself. And this is the Hanged Man, because I was gonna ask what else is coming through here. What can you do about this? Anything like that. So the Hanged Man, yeah. Like I said, there's this new beginning. You can create everything. But also the Hanged Man, I find it interesting that both of them have blonde hair. It's like a reflection in a way, even though they're not the same thing. This is the Sleeping Beauty. It's like, okay, that's weird. So there are two things coming through with this. There's rest and rejuvenation in a way, even though the Hanged Man, I wouldn't usually interpret it like this. But because you have the ability to create so much, maybe you start going off and being like, oh, I want to make this, I want to do this, I want to do that. And then you kind of burn out. It's kind of like the magic of the fairy godmother. She was able to create something, but it had like a time limit. I'm not saying that what you create has a time limit. It's more like there are limitations to magic, right? And there are limitations as well to who you are and your status as a human being. So it's important for you to rest as needed, okay? And the other thing that's coming through with the Hanged Man is that at some point, maybe this is going to lead to a standstill. But when this standstill comes about, it's like, don't try to rush through it, because there are periods of, it's like for you, at least right now, it's coming through like there will be periods of fast development, like with the Knight of Swords. But there will also be periods in between of rest, because Spirit doesn't want you to burn out. Because in order to keep going, you have to rest, you have to recharge, right? So very important for you to start a grounding practice right now, so you kind of come back to your center, okay? Oh my god, I have to sneeze, hold on. Holy shit, sorry about that. Like, I'm really trying to get this done. So let's see with the Kali Oracle, what else comes through for you. It may be related to this, it may not, it may be something additional, it depends, I guess. I just wanted this to be like an extra because I felt called to do it. I will be reading from the guidebook for this oracle because I don't feel like I know enough about Kali to just tell you about her, just like that. So we're gonna see what comes through for Kali. It doesn't have to necessarily come from her, but I am using the oracle, so there's a chance, you know, I don't know. I try to be as respectful as possible and not assume. So there's your card. So this is, oh, this one came up for pile 1 as well. If you feel called to watch pile 1, you can go ahead and do that. Maybe these two things apply to different areas of your life. But this Gaudi Devi, I shuffled, like, I shuffle a lot. This is number 43. And number 43 is in page 214. Okay. So you got Gaudi Devi, champion of the sweet souls with fierce hearts who are underestimated and passed over. She who is gentle as the deer and ruthless as the lioness, who is the capacity within the awakened heart to rise, to overcome obstacles, to have faith without any evidence of victory, and to rally the spirit until the right moment to act and win is felt. She is nonconformity and the freedom to be one's true self. Recognize your own beauty and value, irrespective of whether another has the capacity to behold it at this time. You shall shine. It's saying that you may be misunderstood in a way, because that is mentioned there. So this is the other part that I'm going to read, because it's talking about when this card comes up in a reading. It says, when Gaudi Devi arises in a reading, you are asked to check your boundaries and tune into your capacity to hiss, to realize you are entitled to be kind, but also to be respected. If you have seen yourself as a badass, it is time to embrace your softer side. If you have been soft and doubted your ability to stand up for yourself, you have simply forgotten that you are also Kali. Play with the balance, with what resonates, and know that if you allow for it, the divine will spontaneously arise from within, and in whatever form shall accomplish the task. Take responsibility for the consequences of your actions while trusting in her methods that flow through you. So it kind of feels like an additional message more than a complimentary message here, but especially with the consequences of your actions. I did mention how the fairy godmother had like this time limit. So, and we did get that message about overconfidence. So it's important for you to be aware of you not having exactly, like, the sky is the limit when it comes to your ability to create, but you have limits in the sense of your humanity, in the sense of you being a human and being in this planet. So it's about being aware of both. So it doesn't mean that just because there are like, let's say, like we have time constraints as humans, even though it's a made up concept, we do deteriorate over time passing or whatever we see as time passing, right? It's just the one thing after the other. But when it comes to the creation of something that is coming from within you, whether it's for you or if it's for someone else, you don't really have a limit. Like, people may try to limit you, but their limits are not yours. So just be sure of your own, and that's all that matters, okay? So let me get you some angel numbers here. See something that comes up. This may be loud, just letting you know. Again, 3, 4, 5. How? This is from the second pile. I cleanse the energy in between piles. I have the thing right here, and it does like a little. It's like a little. I cleanse with that, especially right now because I'm fucked. Like my nose is fucked. But what? 3, 4, 5 again. So you can look this up like this. You can mix around the numbers if you want. You can add them up and then reduce them, or just use the final number. Whatever you want with these. So it's just maybe like an extra message for you. For some reason, I feel like mentioning this right here. This is the blue howlite crystal. It's very tiny. They just gave it to me as a gift with something that I ordered from Etsy. Now for some reason, I feel like mentioning it to you. It's actually, oh shit, it's the same color as my nails almost. But maybe you would benefit from using a crystal like that. From my understanding, it's a crystal that helps, or at least it can help with mental clarity and communication. So maybe you need something like that. So look into it if you feel like that's for you. Okay. Oh, well, that's not here, but it's like, I'm seeing an eagle, so it's kind of like guidance. So they're saying like to follow your intuition here. If you're worried about maybe picking the wrong thing to start with, you don't have to be, because you're going to be guided. So really listen to your gut above everything else. Okay, so that's all I have for you. Please like, comment, share, subscribe if you feel called to, because I do put out new videos every Sunday at 12 p.m. EST. Also, if you wanna go ahead and follow me on Instagram, holy fuck. You can go ahead and follow me on Instagram if you want. I do have my updates of the channel over there. And if you want to buy me a coffee, I have my Venmo and my Cash in the description down below. It is never expected, but is always very appreciated. I wish you the best of luck on your journey, and much, much love to you. Bye-bye. Hello for pile 4 with the 5 of Pentacles and the Antique Anatomy Tarot. There's your reading. Okay. I didn't mean to do that, but that is the 3 of Swords. So I was gonna say, let me just leave that right there, that I'm gonna be interpreting this card first in your reading, to help you decide, like realize this is the right reading for you. If not, you can feel free, you can go pick another pile if you want. I was gonna say, like, I'm gonna read this first, but then I grabbed this one. This is the 3 of Swords down here. I am unsure of whether I should read that, because I typically just like to shuffle, but I guess there are no coincidences, right? So I'm just gonna leave that right there, and then I will shuffle another one. So let me just look at the 5 of Pentacles first. So the 5 of Pentacles right now, there's this sense of helplessness and defenselessness, but especially the helplessness. The 5 of Pentacles talks about feeling left out in the cold. It's kind of, for you especially, this reading, I feel like you may feel abandoned, like your needs aren't being met by anyone around you. For some of you, I'm hearing that you may be married, and this person is just not, like, they're not fulfilling you the way you need to. They're actually showing me an example of someone I know, who, I'm moving the dice over here. I just want to move them around because I literally got the same number for the other pile, and I'm like, maybe it's just because I didn't move them. Anyway, they're showing me like an actual person that I know that has this issue. Like, she is pregnant, but like her husband won't like touch her or anything. He won't be sexual towards her, but it's like she kind of needs that right now, right? So he's kind of neglecting her physically and emotionally to a certain level. So they're showing me that example. That may be the case for you. It doesn't have to be. They're just giving me, I think, an example of someone not having their needs met by the people around them. Now, I am not exactly an advocate for getting everything you need from other people, but I have to recognize, and I will tell you this, there are some things that you have to fix within yourself in order to feel satisfied, but sometimes you do need things from other people. So if you're with someone, you don't have to provide everything for yourself. This other person should be able to give you like support, should be there for you, maybe listen to you, right? That's like, it should be mutual, but you know what I mean. So there are certain needs that you can't fulfill them by yourself, and that it's kind of like the truth of being a human. Like, we need connection with other people. We are social animals, okay? So as much as I would like to tell you that you could, and like, not that I want to, but it's like, I feel like so many people have told me specifically, like, oh, you don't need anyone else, you just need to love yourself. I don't think that's true. You do need to love yourself, but sometimes you can love yourself very much and people around you still may not be meeting the needs that you have. Like, the need for connecting with another person, you can't fulfill on your own. You need another person, right? So I feel like for you, you're feeling like you're not receiving that, you're not getting that from the people around you that should be giving this to you. This may be specifically about 4 people around you, so maybe 4 people that you feel have neglected you in some way. So maybe a father, mother, significant other, sibling, maybe even like a boss. So like, your boss doesn't have to take care of you, but sometimes bosses can be like shitty. And it's like, yo, can you be like a little bit nicer to me at least? Like, I'm trying to work here. I don't know why that's going through. But let's see. So you did get the 3 of Swords. I do have it here. I want to get another card for you. But I feel like I almost gave you the entirety of the message with that first card. So, anything else for pile 4, please? The Wheel of Fortune. Yeah. I'm actually going to get a 4th one. Let's put it down here. What can pile 4 do about this? Or anything else? Any advice regarding this? Well, I thought she was gonna like jump off my table. So this is the Hermit. I literally saw it. Okay. So there's a lot about like interpersonal relationships coming up like in these readings. Like, at least I think like 3 of them. Like 3 out of the 4. Well, not 3, like 2 out of the 4 and this one. Okay. So with the 3 of Swords, the 3 of Swords is this heartbreak, this pain, this suffering. So like I said, this feeling left out in the cold is not just like, oh, I feel abandoned, but like, I can't keep doing myself. Like, it's actually painful. Like, I feel like you feel unwanted to some degree. You might not want to admit this to yourself though, because I feel like maybe you share that mentality that I had of, yeah, this is just me. Maybe I just need to love myself harder, or like, maybe I should work a little bit more on myself. Like, no, sometimes the people around you are just shitty, and that's okay. Like, sometimes we are the problem, but sometimes we're not, and we have to have a certain level of discernment to figure it out when it's us and when it's not us. Okay. So, you also got the Wheel of Fortune. I like this because this is signifying change. And I like this card with what I'm talking about. I just love how the deck kind of connects with everything. Because in this Wheel of Fortune, like the Wheel of Fortune usually has like the 4 cherubs, I believe, or they're not cherubs. What are they? Well, maybe they're cherubs. I don't know. So it has like the ox head, the lion, I think an eagle, and then like an angel or something like that. But in this one, it has the aces. So you have the Ace of Swords, the Ace of Pentacles, Ace of Cups, Ace of Wands. So it's kind of reaching. The hands are reaching towards the new beginnings. It could land on any of it, but it's like any of these new beginnings, I feel, have the capacity of fulfilling you in some way. So I feel like the message, if this is about a relationship, and let's say that you are in this person's, in a situation similar to the person that I know, where it's like, oh, she's married, she's pregnant, she's not just gonna break up with her husband, or divorce or whatever, you know? So maybe for you, like, it will be, even if that's not the case, if this has to do with someone else, your first step should definitely be talking to them about this. And if they should be receptive to this and try to kind of do better and help you out with this. If they are not receptive, I'm going to be completely honest, you should probably be reconsidering having them in your life, because there's absolutely no reason for you to keep someone in your life that only creates suffering for you, or maybe loves you sometimes but then others leaves you like off to the side and doesn't worry about your emotional needs, or doesn't give you what it is that you need. It doesn't mean that someone has to be perfect, the perfect partner all the time. We all make mistakes, but there's a difference between a one-time mistake and a pattern of actions. Okay, so I feel like Spirit really wants you to look at that at your guides as well. So also with the Hermit here, I'm hearing Siren, so hi Archangel Michael. He may be connected to you as well. So the Hermit talks about this journey up a mountain in a sense of spiritual betterment. But for me, in a sense, the Hermit means maturation through the learning that you have put yourself through. So this is going within as well. So really, when it comes to your situation, you should probably be looking at your needs, how they're being met, how they're not being met, and taking into consideration all aspects of your particular situation, what it is that you can do about this. Hold on. Sorry about that. I'm gonna be cutting out like every time I fucking sneeze, because I have a microphone like right here and it's so fucking loud if I sneeze or anything. So even if it might be painful to sit down and talk to this person and maybe face the fact that they're not as good for you as you thought they were, or like you were accepting the bare minimum, and they're not even giving you that much anymore, even though that's painful and difficult to deal with, it's gonna be I think better for you in the long run than, like, facing it is gonna be better than if you stay there and you keep kind of suffering through all of it, because the Three of Swords is telling me that there is a great deal of suffering right here. Okay, so I'm gonna get you one card from here. Let's see what the message from the Kali Oracle is. I will be reading from the guidebook because I just don't know enough about her to just tell you on the fly, so I'm going to be reading a little bit. Okay, so let's see what the message is from this oracle. Ooh, I don't know. Let's try again. I thought something was gonna come up, but it didn't. So let's try that again one more time. Ooh, my god, that flew off my table. Give me a second. Okay, so you got number 34, and this is Kurukula, I believe that's how you pronounce it. Okay. This one is interesting because she has red skin here. So let's say this is number 34. Kurukula, number 177. Okay. Sorry about my sniffling behind the mic. Okay. So, she is vibrant red, pulsating with the feminine power of enlightened activity, and infusing our hearts with her capacity for sacred sorcery to conjure and create according to love's guiding wisdom. To receive the divine inheritance of blessings and support for sacred fulfillment, certain karmic conditions that resonate at a lower frequency need to be cleared away. The lesson is to release, to receive. Kurukula symbolizes a time of rapid movement on your life path and freedom to attract what you need and want. However, you must be willing to let go of negativity and that which does not belong in your world. You see how it's tying it. So let me see, because sometimes they have like another part here. Okay. Her presence supports us to gain clarity on where our energies need to go and clear away any distractions or ineffective methods and strategies. When she appears in a reading, be ready to move swiftly on the opportunities that arise and feel faithfully aligned with your heart. Her presence also signifies that if something isn't resonating, then do not hold on out of fear. Let it go. Trust that the divine knows how to resolve any complicating factors. Despite her status as a goddess of magnetic attraction, Kurukula doesn't resonate with clutter. Her fierce side repels it. This allows us to align our energies with what is truly serving the soul and to have the courage to release anything else if it hasn't already been cleared through circumstances beyond our control, which tends to be evidence of her protected divine handiwork. Release and you shall receive. I love that. Alright, so I'm pretty sure that's very clear, so I don't think I need to explain further. There's a lot of green here. I do want to mention it. Because even though Kurukula is red, the background is green, and you have the green here of the leaves, so there's a lot of healing involved here. And when the Three of Swords comes up, and I'm going to show you because I have a tattoo, this tattoo was very much inspired by the Three of Swords. And most people may feel a little bit weird about having a tattoo inspired by the Three of Swords, because usually the Three of Swords is associated with negative stuff, but I also see it as an opportunity for healing, which is why I have it. I designed this one myself, so it's arrows instead of swords, but so the Three of Swords, when the Three of Swords is there's a lot of pain, but there's also an opportunity to grow and to heal and to become maybe to learn something that will help you become a better version of yourself. And there's this quote that right now I can't remember who said it. I think it was Rumi, I think. But it's like something along the lines of, the wound is where the light enters you. So, like I said, while it may be painful and difficult, at the end of the day, it's better, like the Kali Oracle says, to let go than to hold on to it out of fear. So let me get you some numbers that you can look up. This may be a little bit loud, just so you know. So you got 1, 5, 6. Feel free to arrange this around however you feel called to. You can also add them up and then reduce them. So this would be 12. 12 has come up so much. So 12, you can look up 12, or you can look up 1 plus 2 equals 3. You can look that one up as well, however you want to do that. That's interesting. A lot of 12s in all of these readings, but that's basically it. But there's a lot of healing here, and it, like I know that you're probably preoccupied about this, and it worries you, and you are afraid. But Kaliba has spoken. I trust her with that. Literally, she has helped me just by using the oracle. I don't even actually work with her. Just using the oracle and familiarizing myself with her energy has helped. So maybe that would be helpful for you as well, especially if you resonate with what I said about being married to someone that doesn't fulfill your needs and stuff like that. So maybe it would be good for you to start honoring your feminine energy. You don't have to be a woman. Feminine energy, they're referred to it as feminine, but it isn't reserved solely to women. We all have masculine and feminine energy. These are just everywhere. So and feminine doesn't mean meek and that's the opposite. Just read up on Kelly a little bit. She's gonna help you. I think she's really definitely gonna help you. So I just noticed she has arrows in my tattoo. So that Three of Swords is very important. So instead of, there's the fear and there's the pain, but also see it as an opportunity for growth and for healing. Okay, and also as a sign, because I think it's tying into the meaning of this in a way. take it as a sign that you can overcome whatever comes your way, because you have the ability to do that and you have the strength to do that. And you also are protected and guided because this is right here. Okay? So I want to say don't worry, even though you will, but don't worry, it's going to be okay, alright? So that's all I have for you. Please like, comment, share, subscribe if you feel called to, because I do put out new videos every Sunday at 12 p.m. EST. Also, go ahead and follow me on Instagram if you want. I do love my others about the channel over there. And if you want to buy me a coffee, I have my Venmo and my Cash App in the description down below. It is never expected, but it's always very appreciated. I wish you the best of luck on your journey and much, much love to you. Bye-bye.